Okay, TikTokers, one down, and I guess one to go. So I'm gonna probably do 3 to 5 10-minute videos. And so, as I state this, I send warnings, not invitations. I apologize for how I would say this. I do not apologize for what I say. We are addressing Pretendian talking points, and another Pretendian talking point is that Christopher Columbus, and this is what Christopher Columbus saw when he got here. He saw melanated people with long hair and not black people hair. I'm mixed, so I got lucky with the hair gene. I have curls. But if you haven't been watching, I literally made a video about how I use Royal Crown to knock these curls out. Alright? Now, getting that out of the way, the individuals who look the most like they from Africa are the ones who are mostly pushing this bullshit about we ain't black, we indigenous. You can't be that black and be indigenous without admixture. I'm sorry if that hurts your motherfucking feelings, but no. Now the only way you can be that black without admixture is that you are a freedman. So that's a whole different ball game that's above my pay grade. But some freedmen are also Indian by blood because they're both black and Native American, which would make them Afro-Indigenous. But y'all don't want to argue that because y'all keep talking about some Afro with some motherfucking hairstyle. Check any one of my comments. It's the first thing they come up with. Afro is a hairstyle. Afro is a hairstyle. And that's the other shit that just all out pisses me off. Because they love how the Afro was a hairstyle. And they love to use Afro as a hairstyle. And yet, here we go. Afro is not just a hairstyle, it is also an acronym for African Americans or Afro-Indigenous people. But your self-hate and shame won't allow you to see that. People will bring sources and have their sources used against them. And still, above all else, we ain't black, we indigenous. We ain't black, we indigenous. We ain't black, we indigenous. Motherfucker, no. You can be Afro-Indigenous, which would still mean you got some black in you. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or not is the difference maker, because most Afro-Indigenous people acknowledge both their black and their indigeneity. They don't discriminate, they acknowledge it equally, and they don't get up on this goddamn app and start pushing this bullshit about being here before 1492 and Christopher Columbus. But you goddamn Pretendians, man. Y'all love that shit. I'm gonna sit at this tree because I got a better spot of getting shit done and being able to keep an eye on my time. So, okay, I'm gonna stand at this tree. All right. I'm gonna find a place to stand at this tree. The point being made is that, these are talking points that Pretendians use, and you can often find them in my comments. And they'll be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You ain't black, you indigenous too. No, I'm triracial, and I am 52. And black people were not doing this bullshit before the internet. None of us did this shit, none of us. We knew who the fuck we were. We were saying it black and proud and all these other James Brown things. And we had nothing to do with this. We're going to be culture vultures and steal shit. Now, the problem with Native Americans, and I'll say this out loud, and natives know this shit. I am guilty of it. Most of us mixed people are guilty of this. But a lot of full bloods are also guilty of this. The one thing Native Americans never had a problem with, which is our greatest strength and our greatest weakness, is that we share. And that's one thing my great-grandmother always pointed out. Had we not been so goddamn kind, this wouldn't be the way the world would be today. I also probably wouldn't exist because I'm part black and I'm part white. And as I said before in videos, I would gladly make that sacrifice so that natives never have to go to boarding schools, so that natives never have to get the fucking heads scalped and sold for $5 and all kinds of other shit. And so they wouldn't have to be stuck on territories, open air prisons, or reservations where no matter what you want to do, you can't do, because now you can no longer do because the Europeans took over. And now, if they honored all the treaties, that would be different. But they've never truly honored a fucking treaty since the inception of the United States. They've never honored a fucking treaty. They've never honored one. They're breaking a treaty right now because in Australia, not Australia, god damn it, in Arizona, sorry, I'm thinking of something else, but in Arizona, they are trying to take native land. What the fuck is that? Okay, that's interesting. I'll show you. Don't worry. If I stop cold and say something, it's because I see something. Y'all see that little red bug? Where that damn camera at? The fuck is the... There we go. Yeah, that little red bug right there. I have no idea what that is. Any fucking how. I'm hoping it's not a chigger, because those suckers suck. If you ever had chiggers, man, yeah, they barrel in deep. Anyway, and I'm at a creek. I shouldn't even be talking about chiggers. They shouldn't be out right now, but yeah, if you're at a creek, chiggers, man, they do not play. Now, back to one. Pretendians want to get all up in the comments and call you out and call you all these names, and when you get on there and they're losing to their own source, they start trying to get the lives banned, or they start cussing you out, or they start addressing your sexuality. You a fucking pretendian. You can't just man up, concede to the fact that you're fucking wrong. Nah, I'm gonna call a gay guy a gay guy. I'm gonna call a woman a bitch, and I'm gonna call the host an asshole. I'm gonna start saying all these bad languages to try to get the live banned, which they generally have a lot of success at doing. But most real men, and especially if you are a native warrior like y'all pretending to be, would stand on their goddamn ground. You know, I'm a native. I'm Choctaw. I'm going to stand up on that Choctaw business, as y'all also like to say. Which again is bullshit, but hey, you know, if you're Afro-Indigenous, you're Afro-Indigenous, and none of my videos should affect you in any way, shape, or form. But if you are a fucking pretendian, face the facts. You are a fucking pretendian. And everything I say is true, which is why it hurts you. Which is why you be all up in the comments. Afro is a hairstyle. Afro is not, Afro-Indigenous is not a thing. No, black indigenous is not a thing. Afro-Indigenous is very much a thing. And it's very much been a fucking thing since the end of goddamn slavery. But, you know, it was an Afro-Indigenous man that put me on my reconnecting journey. And he phenotypically looked black everywhere. And certain facial features was native. But everything else, he was a black guy. And if not for him, I wouldn't even be making this fight. Because when I was talking to him, I was fighting white tea pretendians back when I was at McGuire Hospital, getting checked up on my hip and what we thought was going to be cancer, which luckily it was not cancer. It wasn't skin cancer or any of that shit. But it's just the principle of, you know, if any video I make is hurting your feelings, you are a pretendian. I'm sorry, you are a fucking pretendian. If you all up in my comments, black indigenous this, black, no. There's no such thing. Y'all don't exist. You don't have heroes. You don't have warriors. You don't have anything. And everybody who's claiming to be black and indigenous who are not actually black and indigenous, why would you try to get the live ban? Why would you try to get the creator block? Why would you try to get the kids? Because you're not who you say you are. I ain't got to get up on this bitch and lie. I am a black man. I am 52 years old. And yes, I am triracial. When I apply for a job, though, I put down black. I get a lot of fucking bad looks for that shit. Then I gotta go through the same song and dance I've had to go through since I could work. I have a grandfather who was a quadroon or octoroon. He looked like a white man until he died. I was 6. It's not that difficult. Just stop hating yourself. Be honest about the shit. If you have any native in you in the first place, this wouldn't be a thing. And you wouldn't be pushing that bullshit about black people being here before 1492. This video is going to end in like a couple of seconds, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it. And then I'll just make a third one. and then I'll make a fourth, and then I'll make a fifth. And what I should have done was just went on and make an hour video. So after the fifth video, I may do that. Or what I can do is just make a separate video like I did with my martial art movie and call it. So I'm gonna do that, I think. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but we're at the 10-minute mark. In fact, it's 10:21, so I'm just gonna keep going. Fuck it. This is episode 2 anyway, so I think it's episode 2. I don't know where the fuck I'm at, but anyway, whatever it does, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm doing it off TikTok, so it should be able to post as long as it's not over 30 minutes. But this is the thing about pretending and talking points. Y'all will watch videos like mine, and then you'll jump in my comments and you'll say all this asinine shit. That's just self-hate. That shit is straight up self-hate. Because if you really had any Afro-Indigenous in you, or if you had any indigenous ancestors, the last damn thing you would do is dishonor these motherfuckers by saying, well, black people was here before 1492. We weren't. We weren't here before 1492. We weren't here before slavery. And y'all just don't want to fucking grasp that concept. Y'all don't want to admit to the shit. So what better thing to do than push? And then when people go get your sources, they read your sources, they push your shit in, and then y'all still get mad, and what do? Oh, you try to get these motherfuckers banned or suspended. Yet you giving out all this information, this bullshit, and you're teaching this bullshit to your kids, which isn't helping the situation at all, because your kids are going to be like Bart Simpson and his daddy, or Bart Jr. and his daddy Bart, in Miss Crabapple's class, looking dumb as a box of fucking rocks. Bart's 32 in the 4th grade. That's a fucking problem. That's going to be your kid singing in the 4th grade with their kid talking about some we ain't black, we indigenous. And everybody's going to be laughing at them. And they're going to be laughing at you because you're teaching them this bullshit, which is just that. It's bullshit. You want to prove that black people were here before 1492. Take a shovel. Get a job. Start digging. Start going to all these archaeological digs. Get a job. Get a job as an assistant. Go to school. Become the archaeologist. Become the scientist. Become the paleontologist. Become somebody who plays with dirt, science, and DNA, and then prove that shit. Because until you do, history will always be slapping the shit out of you. And it is Mall of Pretendian Monday, by the way. And I just want to throw that out there. It's Mall of Pretendian Monday, and I didn't get to stomp any Pretendians on Sunday because it was Easter Sunday. I kind of gave y'all a motherfucking break, although I did touch on some shit. But the point being made is really quite simple. We weren't here before 1492. We came here on slave ships. Free black people of color could have come from anywhere, but they more than likely had descendancy from Africans. Y'all don't want to accept that because y'all hate Africans. I don't know what Africans have done to you. I've had some bad experiences. I had some good experiences. But you can't hate all of fucking Africa because you had one bad experience. African girl with a big ass booty told you no. African girl that was stacked up here and stacked down here just told you, I don't date American men. I'm looking for an African king. That's nothing you can do about that. That's her fucking choice. All you can do is get mad and move on to the next girl. No. You can't get mad if an African girl don't want to marry a black dude, or an American dude, or an African-American dude. You know, maybe she don't want an American man. Maybe she wants another African immigrant because it feels closer to home. But that's too much like right for you to understand that shit, so you're just going to cause a clusterfuck. And now you want to make everybody black indigenous, which is a load of bullshit. We ain't black, we indigenous. We ain't black, we indigenous. Now, if I wasn't in danger, I'd actually pop lock and drop that shit. But one wrong step and I'll be having to change my clothes because there's a creek behind me. And I ain't trying to fall in that some bitch. But these are pretending and talking points. The indigenous black people to America don't exist. We was in this war and that war. No, the Seminole freedmen were in that war, but there were no black American Indians in that war. There were real American Indians who were not black. Maybe they might have had some admixture if they came up from like Mexico or South America because slavery was down there first. And maybe they mixed in with some tribes and then had Afro-Indigenous children, which would make them more like my color depending on how black it goes. No, But as far as a whole tribe of black people being here before the Native Americans got here, it's bullshit. But y'all love that shit. Well, we was here before they came here, and we had dragons and griffins and dinosaurs, and we had giants and telekinetic powers and telepathic powers. We could talk to the animals, and all the mountains are made out of deer and dragon shit. And we can't tell you about hunting ceremonies, and we can't tell you about everything that we did. But somehow or another, we was here. And these Siberians came over, right? These damn Siberians, they came over, right? And they took all of our shit. They took all of our ceremony. They took all of our weapons. They took all this shit, right? And then these Europeans came in Zeppelins. Fucking Zeppelins flying in 1492. That would have been a fucking sight that nobody would have fucking forgot. Nobody. I bring that up because I was trolling in a live one time, and this motherfucker had asked a pretendian, where did the white tea people come from? And he said they came by in fucking Zeppelins. I about shot my shit in my pants when I heard this young brother, could have been more than maybe 20, 25 years old, watching my feet, so I don't fall. This motherfucker talk about some white people came here in Zeppelins? A motherfucking Zeppelin in 1492? That's an airship. It's a hot air balloon. So let me get it right now, so y'all get y'all a little laugh out. And this is why it's so bad to be a fucking pretendian. And it's even worse when you're a normal black person, you have to hear this shit. So what they saying is, first, they were all here. They had dragons, griffins, dinosaurs, telekinetic powers, telepathic powers. They had fucking giants. I guess they may have had some sea serpents, because a real giant could walk through here and I would probably not even come up past his ankle, because I'm 5'3.5". But the rest of y'all 6-foot motherfuckers might make it to his kneecap or his shin. And this motherfucker gonna come through here and fight motherfuckers who look like my ancestors from Siberia, as y'all call them. They came in with weapons. Mind you, a stick with a rock on the end, wrapped in buffalo hide or deer hide, with a spear made out of a rock, specially sharpened. And they had tomahawks, which was a big stick through a rock. And they had bows and arrows, which again was some big sticks that they pulled back with rawhide on the back. Shot a fucking stick with an arrow through it. And you gonna tell me you got telekinetic powers to talk to animals. Excuse me, my bad. You got telepathic powers to talk to animals. You got telekinetic powers so you can move shit with your mind. And these motherfuckers with less than stellar weapons came and beat the X-Men, who had dinosaurs and giants and griffins and dragons that breathe fire. Sounds like a good story, right? That's about all it is. Y'all motherfuckers got that shit straight out of the Bridge to Terabithia shit. Oh yeah, there's also an escape portal in the Grand Canyon. I meant to not forget that, but apparently I just remembered it. And then, on top of that, y'all not only couldn't escape because y'all was cut off from going to Arizona and all that shit for the Grand Canyon by all of the Siberians y'all keep calling. And then the white people showed up in Zeppelins and started dropping bombs on y'all from above. Because one black guy, I guess he follows me, I don't follow him, I got spider web or something in my face. He said that there was a 300-year war that lasted from 1492 to the current day, or at least into the 90s. And there go my damn alarm. Anyway, this motherfucker would know that if there was a 300-year war, most wars started on the East Coast. Virginia would be decimated, and I'm in Virginia right now. There wouldn't be a stream right here. There'd be dirt. 300 years, motherfuckers dropping bombs on y'all from Zeppelins, destroying all your dragons, your giants, your griffins, and all these other magnificent creatures. And y'all somehow then lost your telepathic powers and your telekinetic powers. Some of y'all was supposed to be giants. I mean, the story just goes on and on. But somehow, first the Native Americans, the real ones, the American Indians, they took y'all stuff. And the Siberians finished y'all off. And then put y'all in chains and made y'all slaves. And then brought more slaves from Africa to look just like you. And I'm like, God damn, this is awesome. It's bullshit, but it's fucking awesome. White people came as Zeppelins before 1492. I swear to God, the ignorance of my people is just astonishingly bad. And I'm like, God damn, man. But there's more. There's fucking more. So then y'all was also included in being wiped out by smallpox as well as slavery. And that's the one that kicked my ass right there. It's like, yeah, and then we got smallpox from the blankets and shit, and then they put us in slavery. And like, okay, but this is the shit you pretendians do. This is exactly what you do. And I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers suck as individuals. I don't know when the self-hatred started, but that's it. And we're 20 minutes in and some change. I'm gonna stop it and make a third video.